Hi guys, it's me, Skylar Capri, and today we're doing my Bath & Body Works April release timelines and spoilers. I love doing these videos every month. I think you guys love watching these videos every month, so we have a lot of information to dive into today, especially as April is quite an unconventional month at Bath & Body Works. That said, if you're returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. We do all things body care on my channel, so if that sounds like something interesting to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's dive right on into the video. All right, you guys, I'm gonna sit on this side of the screen and put some images up right here. Now, the best place to start for what we could maybe see in April of 2026 is to first reference what happened in April of 2025. So April of 2025 and April in general is typically a more unconventional month as it's a lull month. It sits in between 2 months that typically have a lot of product launches. What do I mean by this? In March of 2025, we saw a lot of product coming out, very similar to what we saw in March of 2026. So in March of 2026, we got things like the Vera Bradley collaboration, the Peeps collaboration, the new Forever Cherry Blossom, Dressed in White returned, Off the Vine returned, Cherry Blossom returned, and then we also got the new online exclusive Carrot Charm. So we had probably 7 or 8 fragrances, either net new or returning to Bath & Body Works. So what does that mean for April? April, we just don't usually see as much product as we're coming off so many launches. That said, in April of 2025, we did get 2 new things in the vicinity of BodyCare. The first is going to be the launch or the relaunch of True Blue Spa. Now, True Blue Spa was a collection at Bath & Body Works, very similar to the aromatherapy in that it's kind of its own line. And this was a collection that we had many years ago that has since been discontinued for quite some time now. However, they were starting to try and introduce True Blue Spa kind of esque products via their Sun range a couple of years ago. And then in April of 2025 is when we saw True Blue Spa come back in full force. Do I think we're going to see any of those kind of side collections coming or returning for April of 2026? I'm going to say no, and I also don't think we're going to see any expansion on the True Blue Spa range. So that wraps up really the net new in terms of body care for April of 2025, but we did get kind of some new in some of the other Bath & Body Works categories. So they did launch their lip oils. These are the Popsicle lip oils. This can be fun. It's also a little bit pricey. Usually people have kind of their designated brand for any of their lip products. So this one, I think it did okay, but it was just kind of a fun launch. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of Bath & Body Works lip care in general. So we did see those come as almost a net new. And then of course, we got a bunch of spring and summer candles launching in April. What does that mean for this year when it comes to net new product? I don't know if we're going to see anything net new. I do think if we do see something net new, it could be something that we actually got some photos on back in January, but never ended up hitting the stores. And that is going to be the Everyday Luxuries fragrance in Wildflower Rush. Now, I believe Bath & Bucks on Instagram does have this post from back in January. So if I can find it, I'll put it up on the screen. But I think we could maybe see something similar to what we had with Infinite Radiance, just as that one was a singular release, happened with this Wildflower Rush. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any scent notes on this one, but online, this one is rumored to be a dupe for Marc Jacobs Daisy, and I really enjoy the Marc Jacobs fragrance line. They did dupe another one of their fragrances in the Everyday Luxuries in the past. So if you remember Imperfect Beauty, which launched for Everyday Luxuries spring last year in 2025. That one is a dupe for Marc Jacobs Perfect. I thought it was really nicely done. So I'm super excited to see if maybe that one comes out as net new, but we could also be totally surprised. They could do a gingham fragrance. They could do another signature fragrance, or they seem to be really on top of it when it comes to collaborations this year. So we could definitely see another collaboration. However, that said, we are coming off so many product launches in March. I would totally understand if they just kind of want to have a slower month, typically more sales. Now, when I say it, typically more sales, this is our next thing that happened in April of 2025, and those are those body care big days. So what I mean by that, this is when the entire store will go either $5.95 or $4.95, so a flat rate for all body care, with the exception of those full-size perfumes and full-size colognes. I really like how they do such a great job in terms of sales in different seasons. So in the spring and in the fall is typically when you see these body care big days or these total body care sales. And then to kind of counteract that, in the summer and the winter, you have things like the semi-annual sales, and especially in the winter as the holidays are approaching, body care day. So it's really nice that they do have some sales, especially coming off such that huge amount of product launch. So definitely expecting in April of 2026 to see some of those total body care sales. So maybe if you were looking at everything new that's coming out but didn't want to spend full price, you're able to wait a little bit and get it at a bit of a better deal. Now, outside of these sales and outside of kind of those net new products that we saw in April of 2025, we did see some other things that were more announcement style. So we did receive some announcements as to what we could expect for Mother's Day, while the actual Mother's Day launch did happen, I believe it was May 1st last year. So if you're unfamiliar how Bath & Body Works does Mother's Day, typically they will do these Mother's Day themed tote bags where they will pick one or two fragrances to kind of bundle as this tote bag. You'll get things like the full-size fine fragrance mist, the body wash, the body cream, and maybe a diamond shimmer mist, alongside things such as the hand soap, a single wick candle, and a wallflower plug-in, plus the wallflower, and it'll be really nicely packaged in this tote bag. They like to do these tote bags for Mother's Day. They also like to do a tote bag or like a kind of beauty box type situation for Black Friday as well. So this is something that we have seen in several years prior, and definitely something that I'll see this year. The big question though will be what fragrance will they choose for these tote bags? Now, I'm curious to see if Vera Bradley will continue into that time, specifically because on the Vera Bradley mailer we did receive a couple of days ago, that one did mention explicitly that Mother's Day is coming. I'm not sure if that was just like a, hey, by the way, don't forget about this, or hey, this collection is going to be featured as part of that launch, so we will have to see there. But on the rumor mill, some people are saying that the tote bags could either include Brightest Bloom, which was a signature fragrance from a couple of years ago, or Fresh Cut Lilacs, which is one of those fragrances kind of similar to a Sweet Pea or a Moonlight Path. They will just kind of come back and go like as they please. Sometimes they're available, sometimes they're not. Typically available in the spring, could be an online exclusive, but they're kind of here and there all the time. So those are the rumors for the two fragrances we could see for those tote bags, but definitely more to come on that, especially as we start moving into May. So that is the first kind of concrete announcement that we got in April of 2025, and something that I think we'll see duplicated in April of 2026. The other is going to be the Summer Sweets collaboration, the Summer Sweets collection announcement that we received in April last year in 2025. And the Summer Sweets, if you're unfamiliar, featured 4 fragrances. So this was the Bubblegum Pop, the Blue Raspberry Burst, the Starfruit Sangria, and then Cotton Candy Clouds. While these weren't actually available until May, we did start hearing about them in April. So I could definitely see them maybe doing some announcements for the summer collections in April, although holding off on that launch until maybe the last week of April or the early weeks of May. They usually like to do a summer collection before we go into semi-annual sale. In years prior, it's either been that Summer Sweets, or it's been kind of like this block party collection, or it's been like a tropical collection, which they've already done at tropical this year, but sometimes they do like this I don't want to call it the block party, but it's kind of like this tropical, like whipped coconut milkshake. It's not like Waikiki Beach coconut, so it is considered a tropical, but it doesn't release with the tropicals, kind of like those fragrances. So curious to see if they will do that this year. Also curious to see if they'll do a gingham this year. The next gingham that we'll talk about when I do the May spoilers released in May, so nothing on the April front yet. But as I mentioned, April's kind of an unconventional month. It's that lull month. We had a lot of product releases in March. We typically see it pick up in May. And then of course in June is going to be all things semi-annual sale. So I'll be interested to see what carries over from last year and if there's anything net new. But you guys, that wraps up this video. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. My personal thoughts for April, I think it's kind of just becoming a lull month because they release too much in March. I would honestly like them to do more mini collections rather than these these single launches. Like, I understand with the new Forever Cherry Blossom that they also released Cherry Blossom and they might put like those three together, but we're seeing so many single launches. I'd much rather to see kind of dispersed over March and April, maybe like fragrance collections of 2 or 3 fragrances. So that's kind of my soapbox, a shorter one for this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed, found the video helpful, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.